So hi and welcome to this introductory lesson on Excel. Now, I'm going to assume that you played around a little with Excel and have just a very basic understanding of it. So here I have an Excel document opened, and as you can see here, it may seem a little ominous. I have a whole bunch of commands and I've got ribbons and I've got this interface looking at me. So it can be a little overwhelming. Now here I have this green part up here, and I have a search box here, and I have some tools here. Now, this is currently Excel 365, so your Excel interface may not be the same as mine. Now, here I have these tabs here. These are called tabs. I have a file. Let me just go back. I have home, I have insert, I have draw, page layout, and so on. Now, when a tab is active, it'll have a green underline right here. So this means that the home tab is active. If I click here, now the insert tab is active. So let me just go back into home. Now here I have a whole bunch of tools here, and they're all grouped together under some type of common theme. So here I have the clipboard tools, and here they're separated by this vertical gray line. So here I have the font tools, and once again you can see that there's a separation here and here. Here I have some alignment tools. Here I have formatting for numbers, and here I have styles. Here I have cells, editing, and here I have analyze data. Now, this is called the ribbon, and by default, depending on which version you have, you will see these particular tools. Okay, so now this part here, this is called the quick access toolbar, and you can create your own tools here. The idea here is that you can upload your own personal tools here, and we will talk about that. We will talk about that in the intermediate lesson. Now you can also do that here with the ribbon. You can also create your own tab and create your own custom tools. Now here I have what is called a name box, and this just tells me what is the current active cell. Now the current active cell is determined by this green perimeter. As you can see here, I have a whole bunch of rectangles here. And what you're looking at here is essentially a matrix, a two-dimensional matrix. I have columns here, and these columns are marked with letters, and I have rows here. And as you can see, these rows have numbers. Now, if I just click in here, I get this green perimeter, and this green perimeter means that this particular cell is active. The name of this particular cell is called B4. And I know it's B4 because B intersects with 4 right here, and I can verify that right here. If I go here, I can see that D is going to intersect with 4, and I will see that right here in the name box. If I click here, I'll get F3. I can see F3 right here. Now this one here, this FX, if I click this one, I will get the insert function dialog box, and that'll allow me to insert functions, and we'll talk about that in the intermediate lesson as well. Here I have a formula bar, and anything I enter here is going to appear here. So for example, if I click this cell here, now the moment I click it, it is now active, and I can input information into it. So if I just type in the letter the, as you can see, the typing automatically puts it into the active cell, which has the green perimeter, and I can see that here as well in the formula bar. I'm just going to press my delete, and that's going to delete that. All right, so now how do you move through all these little rectangles here? So if I click the mouse here, and if I put the mouse right here and just left click, I can move to a cell. And what I'm doing is I'm just hovering the mouse over a cell, and I'm left clicking, and I'm going to hover the mouse here and left click. Now, what if I want to move without the mouse? Well, I can use my keyboard. So I'm going to use the arrows in my keyboard. So I'm going to click once to the left, my left arrow, and this is what is going to happen. It's going to move one cell at a time in the left direction. If I click the down arrow, one cell at a time, I get that. Now, if I click and hold, let's say, if I click the right arrow, it goes one cell at a time. Now, if I click and hold it, it's going to just keep going. And let me just left click, hold it, and go back. Now there are shortcut keys to the movements. For example, if I press control and the hold, if I press the control and hold it, and now press the right arrow, that'll take me all the way to the very last column. Now if I press control, hold it, and press the left arrow, that'll take me back. If I press control and hold it and go press the down arrow, that's going to take me to the last row. And as you can see, the last row is 1,485,076. Now if I press control and hold it and press the up arrow, that's going to take me right back up to A. Now, if I type a letter in here, type a word, I'm going to say, let's say first. Now, if I press enter, what's going to happen is it goes down to the next cell that's directly above the cell that I entered information. So now, if I type in, let's say second, and press enter, it's going to go down to the next cell. Let me just move this over here, and I'm going to type in, let's say third. And as you can see, it'll always go down to the next cell down. And let me just move over here, type in fourth. Now, instead of pressing enter, I'm going to press shift and enter. So I'm going to press the shift and hold it and then press enter. And as you can see, it goes up from the previous cell. So now I'm going to click here and I'm going to press delete. Okay, so I'm going to just click in here, press delete. I'm going to click in here, press delete, click in here and press delete. Now let's just talk about highlighting. So I'm going to put my mouse here, left click, hold the left click and drag. And as you can see, I get this pattern here. So I have a bunch of gray cells here and I have a white cell here. Now, if I leave it like this, I can actually type and fill in the value in the white cell. So I can say the. If I press enter, it's going to go down to the next cell. I can say the boy, and I'm going to press enter again. And I'm going to say is, press enter again, in, enter again, school. So now I can actually leave it like that. And I can, okay, so now I can just leave it like that and I can just click out of there. And so now that I have these set up, I can also delete them. I can delete them by left clicking. So if I click here, left click, hold it, drag, keep it held, keep my finger on the left click mouse and keep dragging. So now I can now just press my delete key and that deletes everything. Now to get rid of the selection here, I can just click out here anywhere into any blank cell here. Now I can also enter numbers. So I'm going to just put in a number here. I'm going to say 4. Now I'm going to press the right arrow and now I'm going to press 5. So now I have numbers. Now instead of using the right arrows or the left arrows, I'm going to just type in a number here. I'm going to say 7 and I'm going to press the tab. And the tab will function similarly to the right arrow. It'll just move over to the next cell. If I press tab again, and again, it'll just keep moving over to the right cell. Now if I press shift and tab, it'll go in the other direction. So just remember that tab can move horizontally in the right direction. Shift tab will move in the opposite direction. Right, so now I have, let me just delete that. And I'm going to go up here to this cell here. Now I want to add these two numbers. And there are many ways to do this. The simplest way is to just type in equals. Now equals is a very special important operator. So when Excel sees the equal sign, it's going to expect you to input some type of mathematical or a logical operation. So here I'm going to say, I'm going to click this cell right here, E4. I'm going to say shift and the plus sign. And now I'm going to click here. And this is what I get here. And there's a color coordination here. If you look very carefully, you see E4 is blue. And that matches this cell right here. You see F4 is sort of reddish burgundy. And that matches this cell here. So Excel is trying to give you a bit of a color reference here. Now, if I press enter, this is what I'm going to get. So it's going to output the value. And let me just go in here and delete that. Now I'm going to say I'm going to click here again. So I'm going to click in here. And this time I'm going to go, yeah, and this time I'm going to press equals. And now I'm going to click here. And I'm going to say minus. And now I'm going to click this one right here. And as you can see, I still get the same color coordination. I'm going to press enter. And now I get -1. Well, why is it -1? Well, it's -1 because these are integers. So Excel calculates values, numerical values based on integers. So this is +4. However, if I say -5, then I'm putting an integer, I'm putting a minus sign in front of this 5. So if I were to just say, let's say 5 and 4, and I'm going to say equals, I'll click this cell right here, minus this one here, I'm going to get a positive value this time. Okay, so just keep that in mind whenever you're working with numbers. So I'm just going to click here. I'm going to press the shift and hold it. Now I'm going to press my right arrow key once, keep pressing the shift, and I'm going to press the right arrow key again. Now I'm going to press my delete. Okay, so now let's input some values here and perform some type of mathematical operation on them. So I'm going to just click in here, and I'm going to say salesperson. And I'm going to press my tab, and now I'm going to say sales unit, and now I'm going to say units sold, and I'm going to press my tab, and I'm going to say cost, and I'm going to press my tab again. I'm going to say total. Now if you look here in the salesperson, you can see that the word is not completely shown here. It's displayed right here, but if I just click in here, it's not shown. So I need to expand this out a bit more. So all I have to do is just put the mouse right here between the D and the E. When I put the mouse between the D and the E, my mouse changes into that bidirectional arrow with that black vertical line. And so now when I have that pattern on my mouse, all I have to do is just left click and just drag this over, hold and left click and drag. Now when I do that, you can see that I have this information being presented. It says width 10.43 or 78 pixels. Now if I just undo that and put the mouse back here, you can see by default it's 8.43. So I'm going to move it over, and as I move it over, it's going to increase and it's going to increase, and I think I'll just leave it like that. So now I'm also going to center these. Now, because this one here is off center, and so is this one. So I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to go into home, and I'm just going to go here in this group of tools called alignment, under alignment, and I'm going to click this button right here. It says center, and center it. Now I'm going to do that for this one as well. I'm going to click in here, go back here, and I'm going to center that. So now I'm going to put some information here, and I'm going to type someone's fictitious name. I'm going to say, let's say Dale. Now press my enter because it's going to go right to the next cell down. I'm going to say, let's say Susan, let's say Raj, let's say Wing, let's say Boris. Press enter again. I will say here Lynn, and now I'm going to just go up here, click in here. I'm going to put a number here, a random number. I'm going to say, let's say 5, enter, 3, enter, 7, enter, let's say 8, enter, 5, enter, and let's say 6, enter. Now I'm going to say a cost. So I'm going to say each of these values cost, let's say $3. So I want this to appear as not a number. I want it to appear as a currency. So click this cell right here. Make sure you're home. Make sure the green underscore is active here. Now I'm going to go into, I can go into here, general, and I can click this one right here where it says currency. And I'm going to do that. And that's what I get here. Now I want to apply that to all these values here. Now I could just manually type this in 3, but as you can see, I'm going to have to go here and click it and go back into here and press currency. Now I can also do this. I can click this one right here. This is dollars, so I can click here, and if it's another monetary symbol, I can look at one of these too, and there are more that you can access here. So I'm just going to click here, dollar. Now, as you can see here, it moves over here. The dollar sign is here. Where's the dollar sign here? Now here, this is an accounting. Here, this is currency. I know that because if I click here, I see currency. If I click here, I see accounting. So if you want the dollar sign to be closer, then go back here and click currency. All right, so now I'm going to copy and paste. So I'm going to click this cell here, press Control C. Now I'm going to click this cell here and press Control and V. But before I do that, you notice here there's a green broken line here. So that means that the value that I just copied is now active and it's in memory. So I need to do something with it. I have to paste it. So I'm going to click this active cell here, F6, and press Control and V. Now these are shortcut keys. And let me just press the escape to get out of the broken line. Now I'm going to do that again. This time I'm going to make sure this value is selected and go into home and press here, copy. As you can see, copy, if I hover the mouse over copy, here it gives me, the screen tip tells me the shortcut key, Control C, which is what we just did. And it gives me information about what this particular command will do. So I'm going to press copy. As you can see, I get the broken line here. Now I'm going to click here, and I'm going to, as you can see here, it's giving me the paste option, and I'm going to press Control and V. I'm going to click here and paste it, or I can press Control and V. So once again, I'm going to press Control C, and I'm going to press here Control and V. And now I'm going to press escape. Now I can also do this. I'm going to press Control Z to undo that and just press the escape key. I'm going to click here, put my mouse over you see that little green rectangle there. If I put my mouse right over that green rectangle, my mouse changes into a black filler cross. So now I'm going to just left click, hold the left click and drag and drag. As I'm dragging, you can see the value that it's being presented in the little box to the right of the cross. It's telling me what it's going to put in. So it's going to put in $3 in the 2 blank cells. And if I let go, that's what I get. All right, so now I want to, let's say, I want to multiply these values, 5 and 3. So there are different ways I can do this. I can just click this cell here, type in equals. I can type this value here, press my asterisk, which is Shift and 8 on my keyboard, and that's the multiplication symbol. And now I can left click here. And also just once again, notice the color coordination. Now I'm going to press enter. And that's what I get. Now that formula I can apply to all these values here. And instead of manually typing them in like I just did, I'm going to put the mouse right here over that green rectangle until I get the black fill across. I'm going to hold the mouse, I'm going to left click and hold the left click, and I'm going to drag. And as I'm dragging, okay, it's going to work out the values for me. And let me just left click and drag again. As you can see, it's doing all the calculations. So I can just put the mouse over the black, I can just put the mouse here over the green square, and I'm going to this time just double click it, and that'll complete it for me. So now I have all these values, and now it's complete. But as you can see, it needs some formatting. So once again, we're going to use our keyboard, and we're going to do a bit of selecting now. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to press Shift and hold it. Now I'm going to press my right arrow, press it again and again. Now I'm going to keep with my finger still on the Shift key. I'm going to press the down arrow, and I'm going to press it one at a time. So it'll highlight one row at a time. Okay, so now this is all selected. Now I'm going to click here and unselect that. There's another way I can do this. I can put the mouse right here, left click, hold and drag, and keep left clicking, holding and dragging. And I can essentially have the same effect. Now I'm going to click here and show you another way. I'm going to put the mouse right here, press my control, hold it, the shift, hold it, and the right arrow. Okay, so control, shift, hold it, and then press the right arrow. Now with control and shift still pressed, I'm going to press the down arrow. And as you can see, that's a much quicker, efficient way of highlighting everything. All right, so now that this is all highlighted, I want to center some of this. So as you can see, this is aligned to the right, and this is aligned to the left. Now, just one more thing. These numbers, whenever you input a number, okay, if I input a number, it's going to align automatically to the right. If I input a text and press enter, it's going to align to the left. So just remember that. All right, so now let me just do that again. I'm going to just left click and drag and highlight all this. So now I want to center this. So I'm going to go back into home, and I'm going to go here into center, and now everything is centered. Now I want to format this. I want to add some color to this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to colorize the borders here. I want the borders to stand out. So I'm just going to click right here, press Control Shift and the right arrow. Keep my finger on the Control Shift and the down arrow. Now, if I go into home, if I look here, I have these options here for borders. So I'm going to go down here to all borders and click all borders. And this is what I get here. Now with this still selected, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to put a thick outside border. And this is what I'm going to get. If I click out of here, I get this. Okay, so now I still want to put some color in here. So I'm going to click in here, the salesperson cell, and I'm going to make sure I'm in home, and I'm going to go here to these two right here. And you know what? Let me also change the style as well. So here I can change the style. So as long as this is selected, I'm going to go here, press the drop arrow here, and I get all these options here. And once again, this is Excel 365. So Excel 365 is the current version right now. So I have a lot of options here. So I'm going to just, let me just scroll through here, and I'll take this one right here. Let's see, give me the Arial narrow. And now this is what I have here. I have Arial narrow for the styling. I want to format the background too. So the background is this one right here, where you see the fill color. And if I hover the mouse over the fill color, it says color the background of cells to make them stand out. So I'm going to click the arrow here, and I'm going to pick one of these colors. So I guess a lighter color, maybe, I think this is nice. I'm going to click that. Now I want to make all these headers bold. So I'm going to make sure I'm clicked, make sure the green rectangle is around this particular cell. And then I'm going to go here to B. And I can also, if you look here, it says Control and B. So I can use the shortcut key Control and B. So I'm just going to press this, and this is what I get here. Now I want to apply all that formatting to these headers as well. And what I can do is I can use the Format Painter. So I'm going to just click in here and click the Format Painter. And if you look here, I get a lot of information in terms of what the Format Painter will do. And essentially all it will do is it'll copy the formatting, the color, the font size, the font type, and it'll apply that to another text. So I'm going to click it. So now it's saved all the format information in memory. And now, as you can see here, my mouse has a little paintbrush attached to it. So I'm going to hover the mouse here and left click, and that's what I get. Now I'm going to go back into Format Painter, and this time I'm going to double click Format Painter. So I'm going to double click it. And double clicking allows me to apply the formatting multiple times. So I'm going to click here once, And now I have the capability to click again. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, once again, to get rid of the broken green line, just press the escape key. Now I want to format these values here as well. So I'm going to just left click and drag, and let me just highlight everything. And I'm going to change the background color. I'm going to go here. Let's change that to yellow. And for the color, I'm going to go here and I'm going to pick a color that works out. So I'm going to click here, red. So this is what I get here. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take the headers here, and these are called column headers. So the salesperson, unit sold, cost, and total. I'm going to take these column headers and I'm going to put them on an angle. So I'm going to just click in here, the salesperson, go into home, and I'm going to go right here. It says orientation. If I click here, I can change the orientation of that particular cell and its content. So I'm going to go right here, angle counterclockwise. If I click here, this is what I get. It's on a angle here. Now I'm going to click this cell right here. As you can see, it didn't affect the other cells, although it is overlapping into this cell right here. So I'm going to click the unit sold cell, and I'm going to go back into here and go angle counterclockwise. Right, so now I'm going to click this cell right here. Now instead of going here and pressing the tool, I'm going to just press the F4 key. And the F4 key is going to repeat the last command. And so I'm going to click in here now and press F4. And this is what I get here. And as you can see, it looks okay, but I don't like that. So I'm going to undo what I just did. So in order to do that, I'm going to press Control and Z. So press the Control, hold it, and press the Z. Press the Control again, hold it, and press Z. Control Z, Control and Z. Now Control Z is a very popular keystroke, and you will use that often when you're working with Excel because you'll always be undoing whatever you did. You'll always find a mistake there. Okay, so that's it for this particular introductory lesson. Now there's going to be another part to this introductory lesson coming up, so just watch out for that. Okay, so thanks again.